Welcome to Back on the Broomstick,
A modern witch's spoken word grimoire.
where two witchy friends from way back are reconnecting to their pagan roots after a long period of mundanity.
We're rewalking the path of the wise and trying out all the latest spells, rituals, and magical theory in today's witchcraft and pagan practices.
So grab your wand and your incense
Your cauldron and your crystals
and join us
as we get
back on the broomstick. Hi, and welcome to Back on the Broomstick. Today, we have something interesting and special for you. We are going to take a break from our regularly scheduled programming, and Layla and I are going to give you an update from the Brushwood Folklore Center. In happy festival mood today, I'm Chelle.
And I'm Layla, and I am really happy to be at the festival. I mean, it's hot, but we're still having a really good time. And Shell and I did some amazing workshops here. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything that's going on here and kind of give you a little bit of a preview of what festival life is like.
Now, let's start with, tell us for a minute, where is Brushwood Folklore Center?
Brushwood, this wonderful, it's 110 acres, I believe, of gorgeous space, is in Sherman, New York, which is way on the western edge of the state, right near Lake Erie.
You are literally on the verge of kissing Ohio at this place, folks.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people from Ohio here. We get people from all over New York State. I do see a lot of Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse represented. So, hey.
I met some Canadians as well. So,
That's
hey,
right.
Canada.
People come
And
from all
listeners.
over.
We had
Yes,
listeners at
we
Brushwood.
did. We do. There's still some listeners here. So, hi, guys. Hi, Julie. And
Hi,
hi,
Liz.
Liz.
We're sad you had to leave, but hey.
Hi. I mean, it's just amazing. Tonight is the Earth ritual. During Sirius Rising, every day represents a different element, starting with Monday with air, Tuesday is fire, Wednesday water, Thursday is earth, and then Friday is spirit. Saturday is the culmination with the big, huge, three-story tall bonfire.
Ah. Now,
Woohoo!
I think we need to start with the most amazing part of this.
What's
You and
that?
I did a radio show.
We
What?
did. We did. Okay, so Brushwood Radio 90.3 FM has been going for quite a long time, and it has morphed now from just a local radio station that you can pick up if you're on site to they have it online. This year is the first year that they're recording the shows so that they can replay them online throughout the year. I've been doing radio shows for a little while now, and Shell and I got to do one this year.
This was my first time DJing, and let me tell you that you are so good at that soundboard, by the way.
Frank gives me a little bit of help every year, but yeah, I'm starting to pick it up. It's a lot of fun.
So shout out to Frank from Brushwood. Thank you so much for letting me have my first DJ experience. But unfortunately, as some of our listeners who tuned in know, I had a workshop halfway through our radio
You
show, so I had to ditch
did.
out on you.
Yeah, scheduling was not the best. It happens sometimes. So I stayed behind and continued the playlist that we collaborated on, which I have posted a couple places. I think I put it on Reddit and we'll be putting up on some of the other socials as well if you want to listen. But yeah, you had to duck out for a workshop. What was your first workshop?
So my first workshop I did at Brushwood was herbal cardiomancy. So this was a fun little thing that you and I fell across literally a year or two back
At
um,
Sacred Space.
at Sacred Space, where we mixed herb throwing with tarots. So it was a great workshop. It was nice. It was a great day. A lot of people had mind-blowing experiences, which I always love. But then I missed the second half of the radio show.
Yeah,
But
but
then you had a workshop. So talk to me about
I
your workshop that
did.
same day.
My very first workshop was on charm casting with everyday objects, and we've done a show before, and I'll link it in the show notes about charm casting. And this is basically the same premise, and we went into the history of charm casting and what different charms mean and how to do a layout. But this was specifically about random objects, asking your question and grabbing a few random objects that call to you in the moment to then cast for your reading. So it was just a twist on a classic.
Yeah, and see, mine was more methodical, where you chose your herbs to integrate into your tarot reading prior to doing the reading. So mine was a little more pre-planning involved. But I think the most fun part of your workshop was the things that people were picking on the fly for doing their charm casting. Someone was picking plantation leaves, someone brought a harmonica. I mean, it was just interesting the things that people were using as charms.
Yeah, I really loved it. Some people used their jewelry. There was one, I did the workshop a second time, and there was one person here. Their name is Gage, and they wanted a few extra charms. So they're trying to pull a ring off, and the ring just was stuck and didn't seem to want to come off. And Gage says, "Oh, gee, I maybe this ring doesn't want to be in the reading." And I kind of laughed and moved on to help some other people. And I came back and Gage had thrown the charms down, including the ring that they'd had trouble getting off. But that ring landed so far outside of the
It
board.
did not want to participate.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, I really told you in the beginning. You knew it didn't want to participate and you tried it anyway. And it said it again. I don't want to be in this reading. So it was a lot of fun. We had a great time.
I had an
And
inchworm participate in my workshop. We did a reading. We threw the herbs and interpreted the herbal meanings based on the cards they landed on and such. And then a little inchworm wanted to participate. So we had a little fun with which cards the inchworm was going to
mhm.
and kind of put a little bit of twist into our reading as far as that went. What does it mean that the inchworm went to this card and then this card? So it was a lot of fun. I like doing outdoor stuff because little weird twists get added that you don't really expect.
That's one of the joys of Brushwood is you are mostly outdoors. Again, I think it's like 110 acres. I'd have to check their website, brushwood.com, to be sure. But there are buildings. There's a lot of buildings. There's like the pool house, there's the North Pavilion, there's a stage, there's cabins that you can rent, but a lot of it is open. And so you get a variety of covered areas where you can have workshops, or like Shell, your workshops were over in what's called the East Shire, which is a nice big field that over has some seasonal campers and some rental cabins.
It
There's
was
skip.
just under like a 10 by 20 tent.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's a really nice spot. And where I usually do my workshops is called the Storytellers Pavilion, and that is right near the radio station. And it's more of a
Like a picnic pavilion.
like a picnic pavilion, basically like the covered tent that you used, only like permanent, made out of wood. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, it's a nice spot. This one has electric, so I tend to do my notes on my laptop, so it's nice that I can plug it in if I need to. Shell is fabulously known for note
Paper note,
cards. That's
note
right.
cards, paper notes. I write 3 by 5 index cards. I love them.
She does. And I make slideshows. So that tells you something. But I do also write it in I love
Nerd.
I yeah, yeah, okay, I am. It's true. But I do love journaling, especially here, doing my sigils every day and tarot pulls and journaling about all of it. There's just so much stuff. And I absolutely adore looking back through old journal entries from, a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago from when I was here and kind of looking at all of it again and seeing what things kind of changed
Or don't change.
or don't change, like the roundhouse and the drumming, which is absolutely fabulous every single night. Not only is there a ritual to each element, but after the ritual, they go to, okay, well, let me back up. Every element has their own space at Brushwood, and they have their own small fire circle. They're dedicated to that element. So each ritual is held there. But then there's the roundhouse, which is the oldest site of all of them. And it is also the biggest. And that's where the drumming happens and the main fire every night, whether it's fire ritual or not. And Fire Tribe at Brushwood is part of the fire safety, fire building. They're not just the elemental tribe, they also take care of everything fire related, fire
They're
spinners,
like the
all of it.
brushwood fire gods.
That's right, exactly. Yes, they are.
And if
And
you are not a part of the fire tribe, you do not touch that fire.
And somehow, as soon as you become part of Fire Tribe, you get sexy and hot as hell. I'm not
It's
sure
it's a
how that
thing.
happens. Yeah, yeah, it's just amazing.
Wait,
Um,
wait, that makes me think we should join Fire Tribe.
yeah, I don't know if I'm qualified, but I'll work on that. We'll
Yeah, but we'd
try.
be sexy and hot as hell.
We would, but it's a lot of work in the hot sun. Like they're slinging chainsaws and big, huge trees and logs, building these fires every single day.
Fires like I've never seen in my life.
So with great hotness comes great responsibility. That's just the way of the world.
Ah,
But
damn it.
so after each ritual, no matter what element it is, everybody goes back to the fire circle and there's a big bonfire there. There's tons of drumming and dancing, and there's what's called first shift, second shift, and third shift. So first shift is in the morning or morning. First shift is about 10 o'clock at night, right after sunset. And that's the fire lighting and
The early
the
birds.
early birds, that's the families, the kids, everybody's just a little drumming, everything's nice. Then there's usually a lull right around midnight. And out comes second shift. This is grown
Dun
up
dun
time.
dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Drumming gets faster, the dancing gets wilder, the outfits get more amazing. And, there's usually some adult beverages and things going around. Maybe a little
Shh,
cannabis.
don't
I might
tell the
have
kids.
no, no, no. They should all be in bed by now. Curfew, thank you. Then comes third shift, right around 3 a.m. or so. And third shift will go to dawn and beyond. You fall asleep every night, if you go to sleep, to drumming at Brushwood, and it's fabulous.
There's nothing like that first night I went out at like, I don't even know what time. I woke up, I had to have a cigarette. You know how it goes. It was like
Mhm.
4:30 in the morning. And I'm like, they're still drumming. This is the
Yeah,
life. This is the
4:30.
life.
Yeah, that would be peak drumming time. That's
Yeah.
when third shift is really going. They're just going wild on those drums, and it does not slow down at all.
And I mean, I know we've done an episode or two or maybe three and talked about festivals in the past, but I do want to reiterate from those episodes, there's something to be said for attending at least once in your life, go somewhere, get with a group of like-minded folks, especially if that's not what you normally are able to do.
Hmm.
And yes, these opportunities are more plentiful in the summer, but maybe think about going to a festival next summer or getting out and doing something with a grander community. Get out of your shell and go meet other like-minded folks. It's fun.
It is, and it's worthwhile. And I know people live in areas where they don't exactly have these opportunities. And I will put a link to Mandragora Magica, which is kind of the new witch box, and that has links to all sorts of places, but it's not complete. I had to add Sirius Rising and Sankofa for Brushwood to that, and they've been going forever. So if you know of something in your area, put it on Mandragora Magica, but definitely check there if you're looking for events or groups in your area.
Lots of
So,
fun to be had, folks.
yeah, the other wonderful thing about festivals is meeting people that have all sorts of different ideas and views and things to teach. The workshops here are fantastic. And
Unbeatable. They
oh
really are.
yeah.
And it gives you an opportunity to maybe get a little bit of a taste, a little bit of flavor of something that maybe you weren't exposed to previously,
Hmm.
or something that you never even heard of before. So things like festivals like this really do give you an opportunity to kind of expand your practice because you gain different knowledge and experiences.
It surprised me a couple years ago how many people from Rochester, where I was living at the time, came here.
And you
But
didn't know any of them when you lived there, which is ironic.
exactly. I was trying to find them and I couldn't find them anywhere in Rochester. I had to come all the way to Sherman, New York to find them. So, it's I guess a lot of people are still a little bit in the broom closet. So, hopefully things like this can help people get out more, meet each other more because you have not been to Brushwood for a little while and I loved having you here so that you could reintroduce yourself to people. I could see people when you would go up to them, their faces would be like, "I know
I
you."
know
Like,
you.
I know you. And then you'd be like, oh, right. And everyone would be all happy and meeting new people and being
You
able
can't
to
you can't
connect.
replace you can't yeah, you can't replace the networking.
Exactly, exactly. And I cannot tell you how many pop-up wonderful things are happening. They have music every night, like Boom Boom Shake will be playing. We had River Glen, we had Brian Henke. They just have so many people. Frenchie and the Punk is going to play. It's just a lot of fun. There's so many things going on for everybody. They have a kids village where they have kids programming and crafts and things for kids to do, as well as a place to play. There is no supervision. You have to supervise your children yourself. They must be supervised at all times. But it's there.
Damn.
It's a family inclusive event. We do all these things here. There's vendors. I know you might have gotten a thing or two.
Would I? You know what? I gotta say though, and I think every listener is gonna be proud of me. I want y'all to be proud of Shell here for a moment because I did not. I repeat, I did not buy a tarot deck at
Yeah,
Brushwood.
she didn't. I am her witness. She did not buy a single tarot deck. Not one, not two, not many, none.
Zero.
She bought zero.
We won't talk about other things like witchy clothes.
What, tell me one wonderful, beautiful thing that you got.
One wonderful, beautiful thing I've got was actually not clothes. It was a wood burning of a goddess figure
Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
the most amazing. I don't know if I want to call it a picture, a burning, whatever.
Yeah, Michelle
That was
Mitchell is an artist here. I have some of her art as well. On paper, I don't have a wood burning. I'm looking at some because my goodness, she's great. But yeah, that is a gorgeous piece. I remember we went to the art show
yep.
and you went outside and I came out and you're like, guess which thing I want to get? And I knew exactly which one it was.
You did. And I couldn't even believe it because there was like hundreds of things in there and you picked the damn thing I wanted.
It was the one I wanted, so I knew that was it. It was perfect. I wasn't going to buy it though, so I was really glad that you did because one of us needed to have
One
it.
of us had to walk away with it.
That's right. But there are a lot of vendors here, some very creative people. And, that's another thing that you can do is, support artists, support pagan artists here. So that wasn't the only workshop that you did. Now you did one that was a little more serious. Do you want to tell us a little
I
bit about
did,
that?
I did do, I did do a workshop that was a little deep and it was more to inspire conversation. And it was called Appropriation versus Appreciation, Walking the Witch's Line. And, the whole appropriation thing has gone in and out of the news for the last several years. And I wanted to kind of open a discussion for people because I think there's a lot of accusations of appropriation out there that aren't necessarily accurate. I think it's just sometimes an easy word to throw around, but in the same respect, there's also that balance of there's a lot of appropriation out there that needs to stop.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot of
we
confusion.
there is, and so it was not so much a lecture, but to open dialogue about appropriation versus appreciation. What can we do to appreciate that doesn't appropriate or come across as appropriation? We had great discussions. A lot of the participants had a lot of valuable stuff to say, and I think that sometimes having conversations in person with a group of people is the best way to kind of get some ideas going forward and get the greater consciousness kind of to come together. I just think that it is helpful for people to have dialogue when maybe you are a
Yeah.
solitaire and you are from, you don't have a community around you or a group around you. And, it doesn't hurt to get together again with some like-minded folks and have some, creative
Mhm.
conversations.
Yeah, and that's another thing that these festivals are absolutely wonderful for is to get people from different backgrounds and get them together and talk about all sorts of things and from appropriation and versus appreciation all the way to Diana Paxson is here giving a talk every day on different Norse gods. I mean, there's a little bit of everything here. You can go to Beth and Zeeb who do the clay, have clay workshops every day, making fairies and dryads. I mean, there's a little bit of everything for everybody here.
Now, speaking of fun stuff, a little for everybody, Layla, what was your next workshop?
My next workshop was a lot of fun. We got to play with chalk, which, I'm like a little
I
kid,
loved.
so yeah, chalk is great. But this one, I really love labyrinths. So I did a workshop on how to create labyrinths, and we talked a lot about why they were good, what they could do for you in your practice, and then we got into how to create a simple labyrinth because they look very complicated. But I found a very simple way to create a labyrinth.
And I didn't believe you because I am like the most non-artistic person on the planet. And you kept telling me this is easy. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Who can make a labyrinth besides Layla? Now Shell can.
Yes, she can. And so can everybody that came to the workshop. We had a great time. So I started everyone with the labyrinth on paper and showed them how to draw it. And basically, it's like connecting the dots. I will try to do a short video and we'll put it up on social media so you guys can see how to do it. It's that simple. But we had everyone do it on paper. And once they got it there, we moved everything off the floor and drew it in chalk. And then we used cornmeal where it went off into the grass to make the lines in cornmeal.
And we actually made a labyrinth, I would say maybe 15 feet across in
It,
all directions. It was
yeah,
pretty
actually,
big.
that's actually a pretty darn good guess because it was roughly the paths were about a foot across and it
Yep.
was a seven circuit labyrinth. So, yeah, I think you nailed it, Shell. It was about
Oh,
15
wow.
feet across. Yeah. But it's not that hard, and I will do a video. So that was a lot of fun to be able to show people how to do that, especially because one of the elemental shrines here is the Spirit Shrine, and that's taken care of by a group called the Archers. Each elemental shrine, each area has a different group that's basically in charge of maintaining it and doing the ritual for the festival. And so the archers are in charge of the spirit shrine. And not only do they mow and take care of this giant labyrinth every year, which is stunning, by the way,
Gorgeous.
they also have in the past built dragons. They've built large dragon puppets that were built to burn. We have some pictures of us in front of the very first wire frame of the dragon shrine. So we'll be putting up a lot of pictures from our time here.
So if you folks have any questions about festivals, questions about Brushwood, shoot us an email, send us a message because this is truly one of Layla and I's most favorite places on the planet. And we'd love to give you more information about it and talk you into going next year.
Shell and I, if you show up here next year, we will personally give you a tour of all of our favorite places of Brushwood. Happily.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. We will welcome you home. We will show you around. We will introduce you to people and then let you loose in the fire circle. It's going to be a
I
great
will not
time.
be responsible for what these people do in the fire
Oh,
circle.
no, we are absolutely not responsible for them after that. But I'm going to get back to this festival and enjoy the rest of it while I'm here because every moment is absolutely fantastic. But we will put the information in the show description for all of you.
We appreciate you joining us for this unregularly scheduled programming while we report to you from the Brushwood Folklore Center. So, folks, keep your suntan lotion on, your bug spray handy, and get out to a festival.
And above all, keep it witchy.